Nakuk'at, meaning seaside, the Necanicum here. This is a place that for traditional people, for people that know our Chinook stories, it's just so important. For us, when we're standing here, we're thinking about the origin of killer whales, because that happened right here on this place. We think about this really epic journey that Coyote made that affected the lives of really like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of Native people. I say that because he started here at Nakuk'at, went up to the Columbia River, and then proceeded up the river. You know, this is that moment when they're preparing for human beings, right? The animals were going around and they were saying, the people are coming soon. And Coyote's making this journey and it was hard on him. And in that way, he would say, oh, it was so hard on me. It's always going to be that way for the human beings. We know the Columbia River Gorge, as it exists today, is a product of Coyote and that moment in time. There's land right above us here that is here only for one reason. It's because Coyote, in one moment of frustration, threw sand out and created land where there had only been an ocean. And so for us, being here in this place and those deep, deep connections can't be overstated.
The Chinook Indian Nation is made up of the 5 most Western Chinookan-speaking tribes at the mouth of the Columbia River. They are the Clatsop and Kathlama of what is present-day Oregon, the Wakayakum, Willapa, and Lower Chinook of what is now Washington State. Each of our tribes and our associated territories is extremely important to us. The Necanicum Watershed Council resides in our Clatsop territories. It's the most southern part of our territory. It's the firewall between Chinook Indian Nation and other nations. This area is deeply important to me. I have generations of family who have been here, who continue to be here. This is home for us.
Our Chinook Indian Nation community has participated in 2 treaty negotiations. The first of those treaties were not ratified at the time. The second was just wholly unacceptable because in both cases, the original intent of the United States was to move us, all 5 of our Chinook Indian Nation tribes, off of the mouth of the Columbia River, out of this place. We refused that. We said we are staying with the bones of our ancestors, and that has been our compulsion ever since. It is that reason, the fact that we refuse to leave our place, that leads to us not having clear federal recognition today. It's why we don't have a reservation on our Aboriginal lands. It's ultimately why the United States government doesn't recognize us as the sovereign nation we are here at the mouth of the river. That didn't matter for a lot of years because all Native people on the coast were just poor folks living in poor communities and just living off the resources of the place. That's our experience. But with the Bolt decision, with the National Indian Gaming Act, there's just things that have led to much greater disparities between the recognized tribes and the unrecognized tribes. Those impacts are real and we struggle with them, but what happens is by not being a federally recognized tribe in our place by the mouth of the Columbia River, it's created a vacuum. Chinook needs to be properly seated at the mouth of the Columbia River as the federally recognized tribe. As long as that isn't happening, other tribes, other communities will try to fill that vacuum. So much of our work is about protecting this place and our inheritance.
When I came to the Watershed Council in September of 2021, it was all pretty new for me and I was learning a lot as I went. But the thing that I noticed lacking the most was not opportunities for restoration or habitat work, but instead representation from the tribal community on the north coast of Oregon. Rachel Cushman was on the board of directors and she expressed a big interest in working together and helping me to educate myself in what's happened in the past and what's happening now, and how the Watershed Council might be able to be a real ally to the tribe in a multitude of ways.
It was imperative that the Chinook Indian Nation be involved in the stewardship of the watershed. The Necanicum Watershed Council operates off of a Western conservation model, whereas the Chinook Indian Nation operates off of traditional ecological knowledge. They're two wholly different processes, but together it's a shared responsibility model, and we can really work to support one another rather than working against each other.
Despite there being an obvious strong presence from the Chinook community in the Necanicum Basin, currently a lot of the people involved in habitat restoration work here were disconnected from that presence. It was a long road with a lot of uncomfortable conversations, but really important conversations to get everybody on the same page.
There was a lot of folks on the board at the time that didn't understand why an Indigenous presence was important. They said, the Chinook aren't here anymore.
Look, Washington Telecom Flusket Amin Hut. Coldest Fluska Kopswala, Konoi and Saika Ili. Hilu Shawash Ilai Metlight Basinsaga Alda. Ka Flus Basinsaika Metlight. Gretluska Mamuk Bas Konoi Ekta, Konoi Kana Alda.
So even though those treaties weren't ratified, the United States government still viewed us as a recognized nation.
We didn't get a reservation established here, but in every way, we have been treated as tribal. Whether it's the boarding schools, whether it's allotments during the allotment era, blue cards that were the identifiers to be able to hunt and fish as Indians. All of that is our experience. It's like, generations of our folks have had these experiences. In one of those things is a thing that only federally recognized folks have. So we really don't accept, or it's impossible for us to say we're not federally recognized.
%75% of Oregon's federally recognized tribes and 25% of Washington's federally recognized tribes today were not recognized when I was born. This is not a Chinook problem. This is not a Chinook specific issue. This is a government problem, and it's a work in progress at best.
In 1981, we submitted our application. We're in that process for 21 years. We submitted over 85,000 pieces of document. We had ethno-historians, we had lawyers, we had everybody helping us with this case. And when Kevin Gover, under the Clinton administration, took office as the Assistant Secretary of Indian Affairs, he realized that Chinook was getting the shitty end of the deal. So he actually took our application out of the pool of applicants and sent it for external review by Indian law experts. The decision of the external review was that we met all the qualifications for federal recognition. At the end of the Clinton administration, he signed the final positive determination of the Chinook Indian Nation. It was exciting. It was a wonderful time. We were finally going to see justice. Sadly, 18 months later, under the new administration, somebody who had no Indian law expertise made the decision to rescind our recognition, to terminate us again.
It happened because the Chinook Indian Nation intervened in our recognition. They have tried to do that with other folks. They were not successful with the Cowlitz tribe's recognition because Cowlitz's recognition happened more in line with the Clinton administration that approved their acknowledgement, meaning that there's a comment period at the end of a recognition being announced in the Federal Register. In our case, almost the entire comment period for Chinook's recognition happened in the Bush administration. And so without the protections of Kevin Gover, instead of engineer from Oklahoma, he just gave in to all the politics. Chinook's lack of federal acknowledgement has meant that there's a vacuum at the mouth of the Columbia River. Chinook needs to be seated as the proper federally recognized tribe here. Without that, people will try to fill it. We have a community from the north, not our neighbors, but a community north of them, trying to come to the mouth of the Columbia River to access resources. Our fight is to stop that. We have a community from south of us again, not our closest neighbors, who are working to fill that vacuum. We can't allow that because this is our place, this is our inheritance, but we can't allow it because it's not real, right? We are the people from this place.
The biggest problem is that it causes confusion for folks who want to do good work and work with tribes. It creates a lot of tension in community that's really unnecessary, and it also is really harmful to Chinook, because Chinook has been working 170 years for our Indian title, for the claim of our place, to protect our place, to stay in place. And to have another group who was created in the early 2000s by a few individuals derail that work and make people unsure about our claim to place is really problematic.
We sued the United States in 1958. They did not want to acknowledge this. We proved to them, and they had to acknowledge, that we, the Chinook Indian Nation, are the heirs of the Clatsop tribe of Indians from here. We are also the heirs of the lower Chinook on the North Shore. We proved that in federal court. We won a settlement in 1970 where they put these funds into trust for us for the illegal taking of our lands. No one else can say that. So it's just, we just beg folks here in Clatsop County to just realize that is real. That is what you can hang your hat on in terms of defending Chinook Indian Nation as the rightful tribe from this place. There's only one true history of our Chinook lands at the mouth of the Columbia River, and there is only one acceptable answer for the future of these lands, and that's the Chinook Indian Nation properly seated in our place here.
The bones of our ancestors make us who we are. They teach us our knowledge. The landscape teaches us. The trees here, they maintain knowledge. They are watching everything that we're doing right now. We have a teaching in our community that our culture, what it means to be Chinook, will stay alive as long as there's an old growth tree and a couple of kids who are willing to listen.
With the fact that they are still here, they're still in their homelands, they weren't removed, they refused to go elsewhere. This is part of what makes this story so important, part of what makes the Chinook so important. While they lost all of those people, they didn't lose all the teachings. They didn't lose those stories. They didn't lose the protocols and the knowledge. And so as we move forward and we're dealing with things like climate change, we're dealing with things like environmental degradation, one of the things that we can look to for help is this long-term wisdom, this long-term knowledge about how to take care of this landscape, how to make a way in this world, and to do so in bountiful and happy ways. And this is a community that knew how to do that. They knew how to do that. They had the understanding of how to make the best of it and how to live in this great part of the world.
The Necanicum Watershed Council honors and respects Chinook Indian Nation's sovereign right to this territory. We envisioned a different structure and a future where the Chinook Indian Nation and the Necanicum Watershed Council would be equal partners in the stewardship of our ecosystem.
The partnership between the Watershed Council and the tribe is about a lot of different things. We're focusing on things like developing an MOU that moves the Watershed Council towards a co-stewardship model with the tribe, where everything we do from internal planning to restoration planning involves the tribe and the tribe's perspective and insight into how those decisions might affect their community. But it's also about having a presence together and showing that part of stewarding these lands and waters for present and future generations is how can we work together and overcome some of the mistakes that we made in the past, remedy those relationships, and support the tribe as an ally moving forward, taking care of the land, the water, and the community.
What this relationship does is it acknowledges us in the present and moves beyond the land acknowledgement and provides an opportunity for our community to be impactful and to have a voice within the land and waterscape.
You know, this is our ancestral territory, and it's important for us to speak up and speak loud and be part of the community and educate. But it's also great with the Necanicum Watershed Council for us to help us give that voice, and they listen to us and they respect it. You know, they acknowledge it's our traditional land and that we're here and we have a voice too.
Being immersed in nature is really rewarding. I feel like I'm just like building a relationship with nature, and I feel like I've always had a really strong connection to nature, just being Indigenous. But I like being in my waders and I like being in the river. That's usually a win for me, even when I fall in and my waders fill with water. It's just so fun. They went and they put all these trees down, and then they came back and there are so many more fish. So it's cool to know that the things that we do can restore habitats and make a difference.
And placing woody debris or large trees within the river is something that we do pretty regularly, and we have an awesome program where we accept Christmas trees after they're being used and then work with local kids in the area to place those Christmas trees in the streams.
We're really big on removing invasive species, on creating healthy channels, creating healthy environments for fish and other wildlife, making sure that the beaver populations are healthy like they're supposed to. They're a really important indicator species and also an important manager and steward of the watershed as well. So we want to make sure that they're healthy.
What comes out of us as an organization, a small organization, partnering with the tribe, is not only what we get out of it as an organization in terms of habitat restoration or what we can do to support the tribe, but working together provides a much stronger platform to teach our community about tribal presence here and now. and what that might look like in the future.
It's important to educate the people, the cultural aspects of it, because it's all a balance, the land, the people, the animals, the trees. It's an important knowledge passed on to everyone, so everybody has an understanding.
All watershed councils should be doing this with their local tribal interests, recognized or not. Are you including them on an email chain, or are you really including them in the planning process and relying on them in the planning process? Not just saying, here's a seat at the table, but saying, your seat at the table means a lot to us. Our planning is reliant on you being a part of it. The Chinook community is also here, and we can learn a lot from them, and we can help them, and we can work together for a future that we can both sustainably rely on and share.
This is an opportunity to make an impact on place and to plan for future generations as our ancestors did for us.
In our hopes and dreams, it's that people begin to see this place in the same way we do. They will treat it the same, they'll respect it the same, and then ultimately really be able to, like this work that's happening with the Necanicum Watershed Council, provide healing to this place so that one day there is a living to be had here that is like the living that our ancestors enjoyed here for 10,000 years.
Here's my call to action for you. If you're in the Necanicum Basin, come with us, reach out to us, be a part of this partnership, help us grow this partnership. The community will be better for it. If you're outside of the Necanicum Basin, any conservation organization can create a partnership with their local tribe just like this. It just requires investing in doing it, and I encourage everyone to do that.